What's going on, guys? It's me. Do you remember? Probably not, it's been a while since my last video, but hey, I'm back. What's the time? It's always what I start off with normally, apart from my Japanese introduction, which I'm forgetting this time. It's 2:09 in the morning. I was meant to make a part 2 for my Q&A, and I never got around to it. And I want to apologize, for taking so long. I just get lazy, I guess, from time to time. But hey, enough of that, enough of my waffling. So, without further ado, food. I see you were posting on Instagram lots of images of new food to try. If you had to choose between the foods you eat here in England, seeing as I'm back in London right now, or the food in Japan, what would you choose and why? Okay, had I not gone to Japan, not tried the limitless amounts of food that I did there and not taken a liking to it, I probably would have picked England. But seeing as, you know, the saying is when you have too much of a good thing, it's not so good, or rather, let's say it's the saying now that I've just said it. I think due to the fact that I'm so used to UK style food, English style food, British style food, it just got a bit samey, you know, and I wanted to explore different tastes. Does that make any sense? You know, I just thought it'd be nice to try different things, see what different food tastes like with this food that I'm used to, made differently in a different country, for a different culture, and for different people's taste buds and what have you. But I think, give it some time. While I love eating sushi, and I love eating ramen, and I love eating, what else? I should know, I've lived in Japan for a year. Karage, yakitori, yakiniku, all that stuff. Well, I love it now, and I'll probably love it for a long time. Of course, down the line, it might end up being samey, just as English food is samey to me right now. And in that time, maybe I'll then revert back to enjoying Western food more. I'm not sure, but currently, I prefer Japanese food, seeing as I've only had a solid year of actually eating it, more or less non-stop, mind you, but still, yeah, as is now, my taste buds, my taste in general, they're much more accustomed to Japanese food. So that's what I pick. Question 2. Technology. Japan is often thought of as a place that is miles above the rest in terms of technology. Are there any instances where you noticed this firsthand and witnessed an astonishing piece of technology whilst you were out there? Okay, another great question. You banged it out of the park, Tony and Jade. Honestly, if I can kind of quickly tie back to the last video, technology in Japan, as a foreigner, you know, technology, it's not like it's not advanced here, where I'm from in the UK, or in other countries, you know, that I've travelled to, or, you know, that have made technological, scientific advances. But just Japan is, for me personally, a whole different level of taking technology that we use in everyday life, but making it just that little step. How do I say this? That little bit more, you know, like where you can, for example, you can buy, I don't know. Again, kind of tying back to my previous video, you can buy things here in the UK from vending machines. Sure, you can, and you can pay by card for such things, which, you know, that's a pretty big advancement in terms of before these machines didn't only take cash, specific kind of amounts of cash, 50p's, £1, 20p's, 10p's, what have you. But in Japan, it takes it that one step further. You can pay for things on a vending machine by contactless. I mean, we're just getting that over here in the UK in a bank card form to pay for bus journeys and other things like restaurant bills and what have you, which is great, and that's quite, you know, that's future-proofing and that's technologically advanced, if you will. But Japan seems to latch onto these things just that little bit sooner, and then makes them more common. And then there's even instances where things like technology from Japan, or the way they've used the technology, ends up being, you know, kind of exported to other countries. You know, it's something else. As for, was there a specific astonishing piece of technology whilst I was out there that made me go like, oh, sugoi. Honestly, I guess in my case, I'd say it was just the comparing of technological advancements, maybe even English words I'm using. When comparing the UK, America, other parts of Europe, what have you, to Japan, even to other parts of Asia. I mean, South Korea, China, and such. They're very technologically advanced in certain areas and aspects, sure, but I think Japan just has that little slight bit of an edge. Okay, number 3, cinema / movies. I understand that anime is the biggest form of cinema entertainment in Japan, and I know you love your anime, but were there any Japanese films, game shows, TV series, or live action / that were live action that you found yourself getting into? Okay, another great question. I mean, when are they going to stop? Okay, for this one, honestly speaking, I'm an anime nut. I'm a pretty happily self-proclaimed otaku. I love anime, and I do love movies. Bear in mind, I have not seen many Japanese movies, and those I have seen, to be honest with you, they're live-action adaptations of anime that I've seen prior. I would recommend, if you have a passing interest in anime, or just maybe even want to watch a Japanese adaptation of a Western classic, or because sometimes, as you do with Hollywood and whatnot, they take the Japanese or Asian films and they whitewash them. You do get the reverse, and you get an Asian perspective on a fabled story or a classic film, and what that's pretty cool. I recommend on top of my head, but I do think it's interesting to watch Japanese cinema when, even if you don't have understanding of the language so much, or maybe there is something lost in translation, it's still worth a watch, just to kind of open up and broaden your mind to different forms of cinematography. What else we got here? Game shows? Game shows, okay. So game shows I can recommend. Game shows in Japan are just they're incredible, because they cater to a certain taste, and that's the Japanese taste. Japanese people's taste. It's really wacky, it's really out there, and as a foreigner watching it, I just found it nuts, and that was part of the appeal for me, because it was just insane. Like, you've got panels of people who preside over and judge these contests, or just really strange things, such as like asking random people random questions, or these just really bonkers ideas, and it's just like, I don't understand how it can be entertaining. It's really, really funny. Obviously, once you understand and appreciate Japanese culture and humour, it becomes easier to understand and enjoy these kind of shows and variety kind of television acts and whatnot. But I guess off the top of my head, I can't remember the names, but for a pretty easy one to get into, it's got YouTube. It's on YouTube. It's got English subtitles. I think the channel name is Neko JGT, NEKO for Neko, and yeah, JGT for JGT, and it's a show. It's really funny, where the host, called Yamapi, he asks people, I think NHK Japan, questions using Siri from the iPhone. And so what they need to do, they need to say English words, such as world, or I don't know, what are the English words? I'm an English teacher, I should know this. Computer, or smartphone, or just something like that. But the way the Japanese accent is, even when pronouncing English words, it's very different. And so, even though they'd be wanting to say the word world, they'd say wild, and it just doesn't really sound right, it doesn't really match up. And it's so funny, because every time they get it wrong, they have to repeat it, and they get 3 times. If they don't get it, they fail. And it's just funny for me to listen to them try to pronounce words. yeah, so I'd say that's really funny to watch. It's quite endearing and quite enjoyable, not just for Japanese people, but for people like us, foreigners, who, you know, don't really have a grasp of Japanese variety shows. What else we got here? TV series, honestly, did I have any? The only ones I could really say I've not watched myself. There were romantic comedies, kind of J dramas. Not too dissimilar to the K dramas. It's mainly based off, you know, couples, lovey-dovey life and romance and slice of life and, you know, maturing and growing up kind of stage of what have you. Doesn't really float my boat, but they're very popular in Japan. Okay, number 4, exploring. During your travels, I know you ventured out from time to time. Can you pinpoint one place in particular that you visited that was special to you and possibly seen as your favorite part of the trip? Okay, that's a really easy one. Osaka. Osaka is my とても本当に一番の好き場所. That was kind of broken Japanese, but I'm just forget I said that. It's my favorite place in Japan. I mean, I think I touched on it, or I probably waffled on about it in my last video, and heck, I could even make a separate video waffling on about Osaka and how much I love it and why. It was the first place I really spent time as a traveler, as a tourist in Japan. Prior to that, I was working in Saitama Prefecture, close to Tokyo. I'd never really ventured out from that prefecture. Really, I'd never really ventured out to travel and see new places and just do new things, eat lots of new food. And I could do that, and I did all that in Osaka. Of course, I met my girlfriend there, I met a lot of friends there, and I just felt at home there. Compared to anywhere else I was in Japan, even living 8 months in Saitama, I felt very at home and very at ease in Osaka and Kansai in general, in that prefecture. I just think it's a really nice feeling, you know, as a foreigner, to feel at home somewhere in a foreign country. And that's how I felt there. And obviously, when it's your time to travel, and if you have the chance I had to work abroad, and then you find that place, it's nothing like it. It's great. But I guess if you wanted me to give reasons, I would say just the atmosphere, you know, the day of life, the speed at which life kind of passes you by there. It's very relaxed, very laid back, very kind of cool and slow paced. The people are very warm and friendly. There are like a multitude of things to do. And is it number 4? Is it 4th reason now? 4th reason. Can I say the Kansai dialect? And the 5th reason, well, of course, should be number 1 really. The food. There's no place better in Japan that does food. Right, Osaka. Takoyaki, taiyaki. What am I forgetting? Oh no, what's it called? How could I forget? Oh, okonomiyaki. There we go. Fucking hell. How did I forget that one? And you know, you've got various omiyage and Osaka style beer and just Osaka style food you could find in other parts of Japan, but obviously not in that style, with different ingredients and whatnot. So, well, I'll make a whole different video about food, okay? Right now, I always do that. That's probably should be a thing in it, my slaps in my videos, but the fact that I always hurt. Yeah. And that would be why, Osaka. I mean, let me know if you want me to make a whole different video on Osaka, because I will, and I probably will, and I probably should, and I probably can, and I probably... Okay, next question, last question, I think. Number 5. Okay, number 5. What was the biggest / shocking difference you found in Japanese culture compared to English / British culture? Okay, I guess it kind of extends to the Asian culture compared to the Western culture, if you will, because for one thing, in Japan, even Korea, I think maybe parts of China, maybe I'm wrong, probably I'm wrong, bowing, like, you know, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, is very, very respectful. Like, in Western culture, we don't bow. You know, you shake hands, you you shake hands, you trade business cards, you just kind of just give a kind of curt nod like, oh hey, nice to meet you, but you don't go as far as like, so that's a form of respect. It's you're lowering your body to kind of give respect to someone, not like they're above you per se, but just to kind of, I don't know, give them the high, I don't know where I'm going, give them the high ground. Where am I going with this? I don't know, but it's just where it's seen as a kind of strange thing here in the UK and Western culture. Like, why are you bowing? That's very, very formal. There's not really the occasion to do so, is it? Why are you doing that? In Japan, it's a very everyday occurrence. Also, in Japan, culture-wise, I found, as someone who's raised on British culture and who's, I'm acclimatized to that kind of culture myself, more so than Japanese culture. The way when there's an issue, the way people go about it in the UK with Western culture is they're not really confrontational per se, but you want to kind of get it resolved. You want to get it out in the open. In Japan, they beat around the bush. They want to go around the problem. It'll get resolved, but it'll take a while to get to that stage where it's resolved. So that culture shock, that was a bit of a culture difference, because obviously, you have to understand this is the way they do things over there, and they don't like confrontation as much. And obviously, as someone who expects confrontation when trying to solve a problem, it was a bit of a head scratcher for me, I guess another instance, let me think of one more instance. Another instance that culture that really shocked me. Can I say just the way people were, in terms of their humility and their kind of kindness and just the general warmth and eagerness and earnestness to help? I mean, you're not going to find people who are not like that here in the UK or Western culture, Western countries. Sure, there's lots of people who are like that, but more often than not, you're going to find people who are a bit cold-shouldered, cold-hearted, and just don't have the time of day if you even to ask, excuse me, where can I find this place, that place? Even can you tell me the time? Over there, whether it's the culture or not, I think it is part of the culture, just part of how they are. It's kind of imbued in their DNA, if you will. It's just culturally, that's the right pronunciation. It's a culture of, give and don't expect anything back. It's just, they do good deeds for the sake of doing good deeds, It's amazing compared to here. Culturally, people aren't so inclined to go out of their way for others, I think. And I found that, every day I was in Japan, every time I visited prior, and hopefully when I visit in the future, it really shocks me in a good way, just how culturally different Japan is compared to other countries. Let's say, for comparison's sake, the UK. And it's just amazing. Even though I understood this and I saw this, I was exposed to this for a year while I was in Japan. Their culture is so amazing, it's so immersive, it's so different. And that was for me, it was very much a plus point. So, I don't know if I answered it really in the way you intended it to, Tony and Jade, but I hope I answered it nonetheless in a satisfactory fashion. Yeah, I hope this video was shorter than my last one, because I know I waffled on there, and damn, the editing process that was not fun, guys, trust me, was not fun. I don't know what else to say now. Probably it's time to say goodbye. Let's do it in Japanese, shall we?じゃあ皆さん、今日のありがとうございました。またね。